When I say the phrase god cards, your mind might jump to the three Egyptian gods, Slifer, Ra, and Obelisk. Or if your flavour of Yu-Gi-Oh anime is more GX, you might think of the knockoff, Uriah, Raviel, and Hamon. But what if I told you Yu-Gi-Oh actually has another trio of secret god cards? This pantheon is so hidden that even the most knowledgeable of duelists might not have even heard of them. For us to fully understand what these cards are, we need to dive into the world of Duel Terminal. Debuting in 2008, Duel Terminal was an arcade game that allowed players to enjoy Yu-Gi-Oh through speed duels or action duel minigames. With these arcade cabinets came the introduction of special Duel Terminal cards that featured a multitude of archetypes, such that all tied together in a cohesive storyline. The lore was conveyed through the use of card images, which painted the narrative of the Duel Terminal storyline, with each image in the set of cards being released portrayed another piece of the expanding lore of Duel Terminal. We'll introduce our first two gods of the Duel Terminal lore, Sophia, goddess of rebirth, and Tierra, source of destruction. They both belong to the trio of monsters called the Star Gods. Star Gods are characterized by being a level 11 monster, with their total stats adding up to 7,000. They also all share a similar effect of resetting the field with strict summoning conditions, which is a neat way of simulating their deity-like power in the context of the story. We'll first start with Sophia, the primary antagonist of the first chapter of Duel Terminal. Sophia, along with Tierra, were the gods of the Duel Terminal world. They both regulated the life cycle of the inhabitants of the world, where Sophia would control the power of new creation into the world, and Tierra would control the power of destruction. However, this balance between the two gods became disrupted when Sophia overpowered Tierra and sealed Tierra away. Despite her name, Sophia serves as one of the antagonists for Duel Terminal story arcs. Upon seeing the endless destruction and wars raged by the clans on the planet, she decides to restart the planet by first cleansing the planet of all life and using the power of creation to rebirth the planet. She ultimately gets defeated by the combined power of Constel Sombra and evil swarms Kyrkion. Unfortunately, her power from the Lord does not translate well into the card effect. She requires a hefty cost of banishing one ritual, a fusion, a synchro, and a Nixies from anywhere on the field, which with the number of good decks that use all four summoning mechanics we have. Once she reaches the field, her effect reads, banish all cards from both players' hands and fields and graveyards. Her effect just requires too much setup and is a brick in the hand of most cases. Despite her excessive nuke, this also does not guarantee the win, as at minimum it gives the opponent 2 extra turns to work with, which can easily allow the opponent to turn the tides in their favour, given the prevalence of one-card combo starters. However, the effect is a compelling way to illustrate her power within the Duel Terminal lore. Her banishing effect can be seen as a way of her cleansing the world through the power of destruction and resetting the timeline each time she awakens. If we take a closer look at the art, we can see where on her left hand we can see the power of her creation, where she can create swarms of soldiers, and on the right we can see the power of destruction, attained from Tierra, that can erase anything it touches. We can also see a representation of the tribes that Sophia created in Duel Terminal. On her bra, we see 2 of the Gixi Aqua mirrors, 2 armbands with differently coloured gems, a pair of green wings sprouting from her head, flaming hair, and a crest of the Laval tribe. And there's also the symbol of the Dragunity tribe found between the 2 mirrors. We'll move on to the second of our gods, Tierra, source of destruction. As stated before, Tierra was sealed away by Sophia. However, this did not prevent Tierra's plans for control of the world. Biding its time, Tierra would slowly regain its power, before making its move when Sophia fell in a battle against the surface. Eventually, Tierra would regain its power and more, and revived into the form of Inferno Tierra, and set out to once again wipe out all life on the planet, just like Sophia. Tierra would later absorb the 10 Cleafords and Dark Talonite Hypothalamus, and would transform into the deity Tierra, the source of destruction. Tierra is a level 11 light fiend, which can be summoned at the cost of shuffling 10 other cards from your hand and or field into the deck, and if summoned, shuffles every card on the field, hand and graveyard to the deck. Tierra, just like Sophia, has too strict of a summoning condition, where if you meet their conditions, then you're probably already in a winning position. Looking at Tierra's art, we can see that this form of Tierra is after it has absorbed all the 10 Cleafords, and elements of Apocryphort Skybase and Apocryphort Towers are found in Tierra's ultimate form. Tierra is a flip of Sophia in almost every way. Tierra is a light fiend, Sophia is a dark fairy. Tierra's stats are 3400, 3600, Sophia's are 3600, 3400. Sophia banishes cards, Tierra shuffles them back into the deck. Tierra is mechanically designed, Sophia has a more natural design. This brings us to the last of her trio, Avida, Rebuilder of Worlds. This card is another level 11 light monster with a stat line of 3500 attack and 3500 defense. Just like with the other 2 star gods, Avida requires a strict summoning condition of there being 8 different link monsters on either player's fields or graveyards, and can only be summoned during a turn where the player does not special summon any other monsters. Once Avida is summoned, Avida shuffles every monster on the field, banish zone, and graveyard back into the decks. Avida, Rebuilder of Worlds, unlike the other 2 gods, is not part of the dual terminals lore, but rather the World Legacies lore. So far, there has not been an explicit connection. However, there is evidence that the 2 worlds might actually be within the same universe. On Avida herself, we can see the 2 cleaved cores appear on the body of Avida, one in the lower body and another on the left arm, which suggests that there's some sort of connection between Dual Terminal and World Legacy. Avida also bears similarities to Tierra, given that they have similar design motifs with elements of the Klieg archetype. They also both are named after an artificial life simulation, which is another connection to Tierra. Avida is Meknet Crusadia Avermax combined with the world gears of Theological Demiurgy. Within the story, Avermax was forced to combine with the world gears to prevent the world from being destroyed. This card itself follows the same pattern of having an extremely hard summoning restriction, as getting 8 different link monsters requires a deck totally summoned to link spam, which is over half the extra deck. It also has the poor summoning restriction of not allowing other monsters to be summoned in the same turn it is summoned, meaning that its only use is past turn 3 or 4 at best. So that's all the god cards within the world of Dual Terminal and the World Legacies. There are other trio of gods that we could take a look at, like the Wicked Gods, so if that interests you, make sure to leave a like and comment and let me know.